them into the second round. Let's have a look at our next result. Of course, this was billed as a league decider, but given the Thomians' performance, you might have to suggest that that moniker, that label for this game might have been a little premature. But 36 points to 19, and in the end, Abdullah, St. Thomas was probably happy that it wasn't a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think you can just blame St. Thomas's totally. I thought that first half performance by Trinity was absolutely brilliant. I don't think you'll find a school team playing much more clinical rugby in terms of power, in terms of pace, in terms of just subliminal touches in terms of their three-quarter play was absolutely brilliant. And you had to feel a bit for St. Thomas's because Trinity just brought their best game for those first 40 minutes and they just completely blew the Thomians away, and St. Thomas has never quite recovered from that.
No, they didn't. And I think what was a really important factor in that first 40 minutes was the really gale force wind that was present at the big club grounds, Abdullah. And Trinity played with it in the first half. And it was a really a testament to the smarts, the rugby nous of Shanaka, because he knew exactly how to use that wind, put Trinity in exactly the correct positions that he wanted them to be in, put pressure on the Thomian lineout. And as you said, I remember the Ikipatana team of 1999, and then Royals teams of 2001, 2, and of course 2009, of course, and Kingswood teams. But this performance, this running rugby performance, complete performance from Trinity was on par with those great teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another thing, what you remember, it was just not the three quarters, but they scored two driving maul tries as well, which was very impressive. And you would just expect that when you have a set of forwards and three quarters who can pick their games up and cause problems and pose so much of attacking threats in various parts of the field, it's very hard to defend against. And Trinity just showed that in that first 35 minutes what they are capable of, and it's going to be pretty hard to stop them from here on.
Yes, certainly was, because we saw against Royal Trinity scoring off a couple of cross kicks from Altaf's boot, and the wingers were waiting for it out wide. St. Thomas's were preparing for that, but there was not a single cross kick in this game as well, because they had a space to go right through the middle. And as you said, they had the forward strides as well. They scored about three or four forward strides against St. Joseph's. And you can see that they're working on different aspects of their game in the lead up to these big matches. And coming up against Wesley and St. Peter's, I think we're going to see some interesting stuff from Trinity. And of course, they must be saving it all for the last couple of matches of the season, Abdullah, which doesn't bode well for the other teams that come up.
Yes, and one thing we've seen in the last couple of games, they've got so many attacking threats across the field, isn't it? You just think that their three quarters will do the damage, and the forwards take over. And one good thing about Trinity is whenever they went into the Thomian 22, they made it count. They were not wasteful. They took every single opportunity. And once they built up that lead, it was just going to be very hard for the Thomians to come back. And we already know how strong the Trinity defense is. And in that second half, they showed their defensive capabilities. So pretty much all-round side, which is going to take a bit of stopping for any team that comes up against them.
Yes, certainly no shame for St. Thomas's in losing to this Trinity side. But I think the manner of the defeat and the fact that the strategic mistakes that were made by the Estonian side will be something that they will have to lick their wounds over. But again, they've lost only the one game so far, and anybody could lose. We talked about this last week, Abdullah, with Laksisi and Sudarshana as well, to say that it's unlikely that there will be an unbeaten champion. But if Trinity plays like this, they probably will be. But they're cool boys. Anything could come off, or the wheels could come off at any point, and they could get complacent. Who knows?